Hello everyone, good day. Our topic for this video is liabilities. I am sure that in your subjects before, you have already heard about liabilities. So this is mentioned in our accounting equation, which is asset equals liabilities plus equity. So what you have discussed previously may be just an overview or the basic type of liabilities. However, in this course, which is Intermediate Accounting 2, we will dig deeper into the different types of liabilities. Okay? So for our learning objectives in this video, first is to understand the basic concept of liabilities. Second, define the current and non-current liabilities. Third, measurement of current and non-current liabilities. Fourth, treatment of long-term debt falling due within 1 year and covenants. And lastly, computation of bonus to officers and employees. So let's now dig deep, into the definition of liabilities. So, as per our standards, it is the present obligation of an entity which arises from past transaction or events and the settlement of which is expected to result in an outflow from the entity resources embodying economic benefits. So, kaning term nga liabilities kung sa atong papinulungan amo na itong gitawag nga utang, either aton bayaran or aton trabahoon pa in the future. So from this definition, so from here, we can now see the important elements of liabilities, which we will discuss on the next slide. So first, it is a present obligation. So we have a duty or responsibility to act or perform in a certain way. So these are obligations that you are legally bound to do. Meaning, wala pa na-satisfy mong responsibility or ara ka pa'y bayrananan. So you are legally bound to do so. So to imo siya i-fulfill or i-satisfy. Next, it is from past transaction or events. So there are obligating events which give rise to a liability, and it should occur first prior to its recognition. So obligating events, so these are legal or constructive obligations or events in which the entity uh, in which the happening of which results to a liability to the entity, and it needs to be settled. So dili ni siya basta-basta nga ni appear lang. So the magic lang nga ni appear. So no, it could be a result of past events. So may nahitabo na before. So for example, you did a loan application. So from the loan application, since na-approve man, so matagaan ka na din kwarta. So since natagaan ka na may kwarta, nagka-loan ka, may ara kay future nga liability in which kung mo due na to imo utang, imo bayaran. So another is for services. So that is part of your liability if ever ara ka pa'y future services nga buhaton. So that future services resulted from a contract signing baron or kanang inyo lang agreement, okay, with the with the customer. So yeah. And lastly, the third element is that it will result in an outflow. So there is a reduction in our resources to satisfy the claim of the other party. So because you are legally bound to do or to pay your liabilities, it is expected that your resources will be consumed. So meaning maibanan ang imong mga resources. So ini atong gitawag nga resources, other terms ini is ang imo assets. So since magbayad ka sa imo utang, may aray mawala lat sa imo asset. So it's either ang imo ba ah, cash or time nimo, service ba. So I'm not sure. There is always a negative result or negative outflow sa imuha. So this can be in a form, again, it can be a form of a payment, either cash or kanang goods or services nga imo i-render in the future. Okay. So next, here are some examples of these liabilities. Um, you can pause this part or take a screenshot so you can read each sample accounts that are considered liabilities. So again, throughout the course of this course, we will examine these liability account. So isa-isahon ini naton sila tanan, i-check naton kung nano ang ila definition and how they are recorded in our book. So, from definition, initial measurement, and subsequent measurement. So, natanan ato i-take up during this SEM. So, aton ini sila pang isa-isahon. So, and also, aside from that, from the measurement, aton i-check how they are presented in the financial statement. So, which is ang end goal naton here sa accounting. Makabuhat kita financial statement para magamit sa atong mga users. Okay. So, you can screenshot this one for future reference. So, let's now proceed to the initial recognition of liabilities. So, these are the requirements for you to record such transaction or events as a liability. So, if any of the two is missing, that item may not be recorded as part of liabilities. Okay, so first requirement is that it should embody the basic elements of the liabilities. So, mo ni atong gitawag nga there should be a probability that an outflow of resources embodying economic benefits will result from settlement of a present obligation. Okay? So, kani sila na-mention na siya before sa other slide, which is the elements of liabilities. So, dapat ma-fulfill ang katong tulo ka-item. Okay? And then, next is the amount can be measured reliably. So, mo ni siya ang second nga requirement. Meaning, there is a reasonable basis on how the liability amount is derived. So, dili siya kay nang feel lang naton nga, ay, dapat 1 million yung may bayad sa akon. Na. So, dili siya inana. There should be a reasonable basis, legal basis as to the amount. So, it could be either ang selling price baron sa items or sa services, quoted price, or just the reasonable estimate. So, that is also acceptable. So, dili lang din siya pinataka lang nga amount. So, there is a justification as to how the amount was derived. Okay? So, now, let's proceed with the classification of liabilities for financial statement presentation. So, I'm sure medyo familiar na kamo sa term no, which is current versus non-current liabilities. So, it is somehow similar to how we classify assets from current assets to non-current assets. So, the major factor in order to distinguish the accounts will really depend on the timing on which the liability will be settled. So what you have to remember are these qualifications. So kaning naadire for an item to be part of the current liabilities. So kaning upat, mao ang mandaanan kay once ang item dili mo fall diri sa 4. So ang item if dili siya mo fall diri sa 4 ka requirements or statement diri sa current liabilities, then it will automatically be part of non-current liabilities. Okay? So first, a liability is classified as current asset if first it is expected to be settled within the entity's normal operating cycle. Okay? Second, it is expected to be settled within 12 months. So either lang ani ha. So either lang ani sa upat. So once maka-fill siya any of the four, that is already considered as current liabilities na yun. Okay. So third, let's go back. It is held for trading. So, ibaligya siya. Next, the entity has no unconditional right to defer payment for at least 12 months from the reporting date. Meaning, dili na pwede ma-extend. Okay, dili na mo extend for 12 months more. More than 12 months, sorry. So, dili na siya pwede ma-extend for more than 12 months. Kaya if ma-extend pa siya, if the company has a right to extend for more than 12 months, then that is already long-term. In which, if long-term na, that should be classified as non-current liabilities. Okay? So, maura ito yung mandaan ang kaning 4 ka-items sa current liabilities. Kaya if dili na siya mo fall diri sa upat ka buok, then that is part of your non-current liabilities. So, maong makita ninyo diri nga, other than the current liabilities, or letter B, it is specifically required by particular standard. So, mo to atong mga IFRS, PFRS, or PAS. So, required siya by standard nga it should be classified as non-current liabilities. Okay. So, next, long-term debt due within 1 year. So, these are debts or utang. So, sa atong pa-term, debts, utang. To be settled with original term greater than 12 months. Okay, so pag utang nimo, ang period gid unta or ang maturity date is more than 12 months. But, nilabay naman ang panahon. So, nahug na lang nga ang maturity date less than 12 months na lang. So, due na siya, need na siya ni mo bayaran within 1 year. Okay? So, since ni-fall naman siya sa katong, diri sa letter B, it is expected to be settled within 12 months. Okay? So, since ni-fall naman siya dira, that's why, at the general rule is that it is now considered as current liabilities. Okay? So, amo na siya ang general rule. But then, for every rule, there is always an exception. Nga, so for this one, there are two exceptions. So first is that there is a refinancing on a long-term basis pag yun. Okay? So, in this scenario, classification depends on the completion date of the agreement. Kung kanus kamo nagka-agree nga i-refinance ninyo ang long-term debt. Okay? So first, letter A. If na-complete ang agreement after the reporting period but before the financial statements are authorized for issue. So if before FS authorization pagani, then that will be part of your current liabilities. But again, be mindful nga dapat after nalat siya sa reporting period. So, naara siya in between that two events. Okay? So, if ara siya in between that event, so it will be considered as current liabilities. So, second, if nahitabo, if na-complete inyong agreement, ara ka na right to refinance on a long-term basis on or before the end of reporting period, then that should be classified as non-current liabilities. So the refinancing here is already an adjusting event. So since wa pa man na finalize imo libro, wa pa ni end ang reporting period, you can still you have plenty of justification as to the reclassification from current liabilities to non-current liabilities. So may ara ka pa'y mabuhat, tawa pa man nag-close ang books. That's why, ibalhin na siya natundaan to non-current liabilities. Okay, next. So second exception, if there is, you have a right to reschedule or defer payments. So kung gusto kita reschedule or defer payments, meaning pwede natin ma-extend ang due date. Pwede natin masulti nga, pwede dili lang anay sara buwas na lang. So na ang mga statement, pwede mapadugay pa ang pagbayad. Okay? So in order to classify if it's current or non-current, it will depend on when the right to reschedule or defer existed. Okay? So if ang imo right to defer the payment na exist na siya at the end of the current period, then that should be considered as non-current liabilities. So, if naman, if you have no rights at the end of the reporting period, so since dili ka man maka-extend, okay? So dili ka man gid maka-extend, so meaning imo na siya bayaran gyud within 1 year. So, if at the end na siya nahitabo, then that should be part of your current liabilities. Okay. Next, covenants. So, covenants, natin gitawag ng mga restrictions from the agreement nga ato na sabot with the financial institutions. So, these are attached to your borrowing agreements, and then usually some of it kay long-term gid unta. It really depends. However, in this one, in this particular topic, there was a breach of um, the covenant. Okay? Breach of covenants. So, if ni breach ka, normally good, general rule is that it is already demandable dayon. Your liabilities can be uh, can be paid anytime. Okay? So, demandable na siya. Ang natong gitawag na demandable. Anytime, kung feel ni credit sa atong gihuwaman, anytime nga feel niya, kuhaon na niya ang bayad, then he can. So, ang naton gitawag nga demandable anytime. So, for the classification, aside from the general rule, which I stated, so, it will depend on when the right to defer existed. So, kung pwede nimo ma-defer kung ara ka mo'y agreement. So, first, if it is after the reporting period but before the FSR authorized for issue. So, it's basically the same sa katong ganina na if ara siya in between the two, then that is considered current liabilities. Next, if it is on or before the end of reporting period, then that is considered as non-current liabilities. Okay, so that's for covenants. Next is for estimated liabilities. So these are obligations which exist at the end of reporting period. So all of the following may not be definite. Okay? So meaning sini any of the three na nakabutan diri sa inyo screen may not be exact pa at the moment. So iya lang gi-estimate ang any of the three. Or di pagit mahibaw-an. So first is ang amount. So ang amount kay dili pa sure. One example sini is if there are any litigation. So if there are any lawsuits or nanong pinadira, di man dayon nimo mabal-an kung pila gyud ang i-award sa korte, kung pila ang iya bayaran. So all you can do is just to estimate the amount. So imo na siya i-recognize as liabilities kay kung for example mapildi ka sa kaso, mabayaran man to nimo, so you have an obligation. So that is why although the amount is not final yet, you have to recognize the liability. Okay? Next, the due date. So, the same gihapon no, pwede sa katong atong example previously nga um, if magkaso-kaso na dugay pa kaayong maghuman. So wala ka kahibaw kung kanus agid siya nimo bayaran. So you have estimates nga ay basig next year ma-okay na ang kaso. Nga bala na ang final decision sa judge. Pero wag yan ato gihapon na human na. So there is no definite due date. So although walay definite nga due date, pwede lang gyapon nato siya or ato gid siya dapat i-record as liability. Okay, next. Payee cannot be determined or identified. So, in this case, there are several liabilities which we will discuss in the next topic. Nga, we have orders nga such as premiums or gift certificates. So we have liabilities for those items. However, wa ta kaybaw kung kinsa atong tagaan. No, wa ta kabaw sa payee. So although we don't know who we will render the service to or to whom we will give the goods, we will still record our liability nga mo render sa future services or to give them the goods that they ordered. Okay, so these are what we call as estimated liabilities. So although they are estimated, they should be recorded in our books. Okay, next, deferred revenue or unearned revenue. So these are income that are already received but not yet earned. Okay? In other terms, so amin na to siya, amin na itong gitawag nga advance payment. So, deferred revenue or although nakadawat na unta kitay inang para sales unta no, pero ang nahitabo wa pa naton siya na earn because it's either wa pa naton nahatod ang ilang gipalit or ang service kay in the future pa. So one example sini kay ang mga subscription. For example, nag-subscribe ka on June 2023. Nag-subscribe kay 1 year subscription sa Netflix. So at the end of December 31, 2023, ang imo lang na-utilize sa imo Netflix subscription is just from June up to December. So ang from December 2024 to May 2024 kay wa pa nimo na-utilize. So meaning si Netflix may ara pa siya i-render nga service sa imo sa adtong future nga periods 2024. So kaning 2024 nga period, since wa pa man nahitabo, that is why aton siya gitawag nga wa pa na earn. So dili pa siya legally nga dili pa gid siya sales nimo kay wa pa man gid siya nahitabo. So the classification lang gyud for deferred revenue will depend on when it will be realized. So if ang imo obligation, if it will be realized within 1 year, then that should be part of your current liability. However, if it is more than 1 year, so it will be classified as non-current liability. So, amo lang gid na inyo naon. If fall na siya within the year, within that calendar year, so that will be part of your current liabilities. Otherwise, so all others na lang dayon siya, non-current liability. Okay. So here are another example. Okay? So, in here, Dune Company sells equipment service contracts that cover 2 year period. The sale price of each contract is 600 pesos. So, the past experience is that of the total pesos spent for repairs on service contracts, 40% is incurred evenly during the first year and 60% during the second year. So within 2022, Dune Company was able to sell 1,000 contracts. So here are what we're gonna do. First is to compute the contract revenue for 2022. Second, compute the deferred contract revenue. So deferred contract revenue mo ni siya ang katong atong unearned revenue. So nabayran na daan pero wa pa nahitabo. Wa pa ta naka-render sa service. So third is the contract revenue for 2023. So this is your income. Pila mo i-recognize as sale. Fourth is contract revenue for 2024. Key. So, what ganyan siya na-apil sa slide. Okay. So, for that one, I'm so sorry. So, for this one, I'll just send the computation in Google Classroom or in our FB group, and then I'll just tell you the explanation as well. So, I'm sorry for that guy. Wala, di siya nabutang sa slide. So, okay, I'll just give it to you later. So, pause lang, anay. Kalma. So, let's just proceed to the last topic, okay, which is bonus compensation. So, bonus compensation, so these are done in order to motivate officers and employees by directly relating to their well-being to the success of the entity. Kaya di ba, if matagaan may bonus kay malipay. So if malipay ka, maganahan ka mo trabaho. That is why ang entities kay mo na siya maghatag-hatag sila bonus kay para ganahan man trabaho ang mga tao, and then eventually mas successful lang pud ang kumpanya. That is why hatag lang sila. So, for bonus compensation, there are four variations on how it is computed. So, it will depend on the percentage used in relation to income. So, first, it could be the bonus is computed before bonus itself and before tax. So, ini sila nga items, ang bonus tag ang tax, amo ni sila ang maka-affect sa income. So, normally, when everything is okay lang, ang formula ragyud is bonus equals income times kung pila ang bonus percentage. Okay? However, kung ang gisulti sa company is you will be given a bonus before bonus but after tax, then you have to subtract here. So you have to subtract tax from the income before ka mo multiply sa bonus percentage. Okay? Kay after tax naman, so meaning ang income kay naibanan na daan sa tax. Next, third one is bonus computation gyapon ni siya after bonus but before sa tax. So meaning ang imong income kay naibanan na daan sang bonus but walay tax. So income that is computed by income minus the bonus times percentage of the bonus. So and lastly, if it is computed after bonus and after tax, then imong siya subtract. Okay? So i-minus nimo ang bonus minus tax from the income. So these are the formulas nga you try to understand it first. Okay? So dili lang familiarize. Kay para imo lang gyud makuha ang gist as to why we are doing this one. Why we are subtracting this one. So, okay, let's have some sample computation for the bonus. So first, here are the given. So, ang income before bonus and before tax is 4,400,000. And then bonus percentage is 10%, tax naman is 25%. So if we compute the bonus, before bonus and before tax, so ato na ibutang din diri, income times bonus percentage lang. So amo ni siya ang pinaka-simple sa tanan. So 4,400,000 times 10%, that is 440,000. Okay? Next, if after bonus pero before sa tax. So ang imo buhaton is kung may ara gani after, so mao lang pud na inyo mandaanan. Kung may ara gani after, meaning amoy na ang imo i-subtract. So after bonus man, so minus ni mo'y bonus. So ang income minus ni mo'y bonus, and then kung pila ang amount, then that will be multiplied by the bonus percentage. So in here, 4,400,000 minus B. So ato ni nagibutang sa nga minus B because wa pa man ta kay baw kung pila iya bonus nga amount. So that is why kung inyo i-remember ang inyo previous discussion, algebra lang. So basic algebra equations. So you will apply it here. Kay this is like katong x, okay? So si bonus is x. So x equals 4,400,000 minus x times 10%. And then find x. Okay? So basically it's just the same. We just use a different letter here. Kaya para kuan lang siya, close lang siya. B bonus. Okay? So going back to the equation. So ato lang dayon pangitaon na ang B. So what we did here is gi-multiply siya isa-isa. So 4,400,000 times 10%. So kaning 10% i-multiply nimo sa diri and then i-multiply pud siya sa diri sa naa sa parenthesis. So 10% of 4,400,000, that's 440,000. And then minus 0.10b. So next na yun kay ipang paris-paris no. Tanan nga may letters ibutang diri sa left side, tanan numbers diri sa right side. So since na-transpose naman siya diri sa Pica's equation, nilabang na siya sa equals. Basta mulabang na guys siya diri sa equal, automatic yun na nga ma-change ang iya sign. So from minus, mahimo na siya nga plus. So, B plus 0.1B equals 440,000. 1.1B equals 440,000. So, inyo lang pangitaon na. And then, eventually, you will come up with the amount nga. Ang bonus is 400,000. Okay? Next. Okay. So, next. So, amo na siya ang medyo complicated. Ang may aranay after tax. Okay? Kay ang after tax, income after tax is computed as income minus bonus. So automatic din na nga ara ni ng income minus bonus if musulti kay after tax. Okay? So here on the third scenario, the same given, but in here it is before bonus and after tax. So your formula is bonus equals income minus tax and then multiply it by the bonus percentage. So ato na ibutang diri ang amount. Income 4,400,000 minus, so again katong ganina, tax percentage 25%. And then ang basihan nimo sa imo 25% nga tax is ang income minus bonus. So, income minus all other deductions. So, that's why in here, ang nakabutan diri, ang 25% nga tax rate, i-multiply nimo sa 4,400,000 minus ang bonus. Okay? So, then after, imo lang dayon siya ipares sa tong kalina no nga multiply 0.25 times 4,400,000, that's 1,100,000, and then 0.25 times B is 0.25. Only that in here, na plus na, kay di ba if imo siya i-minus, ma-reverse man ang ma-reverse ang sign. So, ang kaning 4,400,000 kay positive mini siya diri, na nga nahimo na siya nga negative kay basta subtraction. So mahimo na siya nga negative, and then since negative mini siya diri minus b man, so negative times negative, that will be positive. So that's why diri 0.25 na siya. So kana, so there are different ways to compute this one. So pwede ka maginani nga gimultiply din nimo diretso 0.10 times 4.4 million times 1.1 million times 0.25. So pwede nimo ina isa-isahon. Or pwede lahat nga imo na idiretso. 4,400,000 minus 1,100,000, that's 3.3 million. So usa pa nimo siya i-multiply by 0.10, which is amo atong gigamit diri sa other side. But later na lang ato pod na i-discuss. So again, so basic algebra na lang, and then you will come up in this amount. Bonus equals 338,461.54. So this is how you compute if you are required to get the bonus before bonus but after tax. Okay, next. Kabutan diri. After bonus and then after tax. So again, if hain ang word nga after, amo na atong pulihan sang minus. So, income minus bonus kay after naman, and then after tax. So, minus tax times the bonus percentage. So, ipambutang din nato ng amount, ang income 4.4 million, ang bonus which is unknown pa, so minus B lang, and then your tax. Your tax rate is 0.25. So again, ang basihan sa tax rate is ang income minus bonus. That's why nabalik ini siya. So, magical na lang dayon. So, basic na lang algebra computation. Find x in here, find b. So, until you come up in this amount. So, bonus equals 306,976.74. Okay? So, ang kalahian sa diri nga duha is diri ato siya gi-multiply isa-isa. 0.1 times kani 0.1 times 1.1, 0.1 times 0.25. However, diri ato na siya gi-deduct daan. So, all characters nga alike, they are combined. So since kani sila whole numbers man 4.4 million og minus 1.1, ato na sila gi-combine. That's 3.3 million. And then parehas man ni sila nga may mga letters, mga unknown pa. So negative b plus 0.25b, then that is 0.75b. So once na simplify na naton ang R diri sa bracket, usa pa din kita nag-multiply isa-isa. 0.1 times 3.3 million, 0.1 times 0.75 billion. So after that dayon kay katunang transpose until makam up nimo kani nga amount. So that is basically just the computation of bonus. So sayon ra sayon ra no. So ang ato lang jud mandaan is ang kaning mga formulas, and let's try to remember lang nga ang if may word nga after, then that should be deducted from the income. Okay? Nya if musulti tay after tax, if ang rate ang gibutan diri sa imo 25%, then you will compute pa sa tax amount. Pero kung ang tax amount na nakabutang diri, like for example, naka-tax niya is 100,000, idiretso na lang dahil nimo minus diri. Minus 100,000. No need na to butang ining 0.25 times 4,400,000 minus B. So no need na if the given is already ang amount and not the percentage. So amin naton mandaan. Okay, so next is refundable deposits. So refundable deposits, these are cash or property received from customers but will be refunded or returned after the compliance of a certain condition. So for the classification, general rule is it is current liability. So kaning refundable deposits ang example ani kay um if nagrent tanong if nagrent kung mag-rent ta ay di unya na ang rent, sorry. So ang pinaka-common, okay, pinaka-common nga example is if mo palit ta og mga Coke, Sprite, mga soft drinks, or other bottled uh, soft drinks nga wala tay basiyo. Diba, if mo ato ta sa sari-sari store, uy, punduhi anay 5. Okay, nya ibalik lang niya ang 5 if imo na mabalik ang container. So, ang katong tag 5 ang atong gitawag nga refundable deposits. Okay? So, these are gi-deposit lang nila sa customer, but then once ma-comply na nila ang condition in which sa aton example ma-comply nila ang pagbalik sa botilya, then ang kwarta nga ilang deposit will be returned also to the customers. So for the classification, generally it should be part of your current liability. But the exception is that if there is an agreement that it will be refunded 12 months after the end of the reporting period. So long term na mahatag ang refund. So that should be recorded, or that should be part of your non-current liability. Okay? So ang example diri kay amo na itong mga rent deposit. So 2 months advance, 1 month deposit. So sa term nga 1 month deposit, usually, for example, if nag-rent ka for 5 years, then ang imo deposit will be returned to you after 5 years pa. So since more than 12 months pa man siya, that is why that is considered as non-current liability. Okay? So these are the rules on how we classify current liabilities and non-current liabilities. So now we have an activity. So we have problem solving. So you have to read the problems carefully and then answer the questions asked. Show your solution in one whole sheet of paper. So for this one, pwede lang ninyo makopy maybe sa inyo one whole sheet of paper, or you can screenshot na lang anay kay para dili kalas kaayo sa time also. So you can screenshot the problems and then show your solution on the paper. So this will be submitted to your Google Classroom. I will just create katong submitanan. Okay? You will have to submit it lang. Okay, so uh, try lang pag-solve, and then yeah, there will be bonus points for those people nga makakuha sa sakto nga answer. Okay, so that will be I will move na to the problem solving, to the problems, and then you can screenshot and then you can send your answers afterwards. Okay, first, bonus computation. Okay. The bonus agreement of Titay's company provides that the general manager shall receive an annual bonus of 10% of the net income after bonus and after tax. So after bonus and after tax. The income tax rate is 30%. The general manager received 280,000 for the current year as bonus. So ang question diri is dili ang bonus amount kay nahatagan ka naman sa bonus amount. The question is, what is the income before bonus and before tax? Okay? So you can just take a screenshot and then baliki lang later. So when you solve the problem, you have kanang mas stable. Okay? So mas fixed nga reference. Okay, so that's problem number 1. And then problem number 2, still bonus computation. Renguko company has an agreement to pay its sales manager a bonus of 5% of the income after bonus and after tax. The income for the current year before bonus and before tax is 5,250,000. The income tax rate is 30% of income after bonus. Question: what amount should be reported as bonus of the sales manager for the current year? So let's find B. Okay, next. Deferred revenue. Okay, so you can answer this one after while referencing to the file that I will provide to you via FB group or Google Classroom. Kay wala na apil sa slide di ay ang solution sa katong example ganina. So you can refer to that one to in order for you to answer this problem. Okay, so third problem. Try company sells office equipment service contract agreeing to service equipment for a 2-year period. Cash receipts from contracts are credited to unearned contract revenue. Service contract costs are charged to service contract expense as incurred. Meaning, kung saan o nagka-expense, amo lang lang siya i-record. Amo lang lang siya gi-charge as contract cost. So, revenue from service contracts is recognized as earned over the term of the contracts. So, additional items, unearned contract revenue at January 1. So, this is the beginning balance. It is 600,000. So, cash receipts from service contracts sold 980,000. Service contract revenue recognized 860,000 and service contract expense 520,000. So the question here is to compute how much is the unearned contract revenue on December 31. Okay. So you can now take also screenshots and then answer it. Okay, so that will be just the 3 problems nga ato sampulan og answer, and then you will send it to me and I will give points to those who has the correct answers, I mean, for the 3 problems. Okay, so that is all for this video. So thank you everyone for watching. And again, if you have any questions or clarifications, please don't hesitate to ask. So just PM me, or you can comment on this video, or dili gani sa atong Google Classroom or FB group if you are shy. So in any platforms lang, whichever ang mas comfortable sa inyo ha. So that would be all. Thank you so much everyone, and goodbye.